Class 4, Chapter 8, Transport. Ajit and Manu are friends. Manu lives in Karnool. She used to write letters to Ajit whenever she goes on a trip. Ajit received a letter from Manu regarding her travel. He was very excited to read the letter written on train journey. Let us read the letter written by Manu regarding her trip. Hi Ajit, this is Manu. I want to share my exciting journey with you. We started from home and reached the railway station by an auto. The train arrived and I sat by the window and started looking outside. One thing I noticed was that people putting big packages of goods in the luggage vans. We traveled through different places and I got to meet a lot of people. Is the same means of transportation useful for people and goods? What is transportation? The movement of people and goods from one place to another by land, water or air is called transportation. Generally, we use bicycle, bus, car, train, etc. to travel from one place to another. Let us imagine how our transport system works around us. Life becomes miserable in the absence of transport system, isn't it? Transportation keeps us comfortable. It is even more surprising to see how the transportation connects one another. Is the transport system same in all places? The transport used in plain areas is different from hilly areas. The means of transport is based on the physical conditions of the place. Thus, we see that the means of transport used in the hilly regions, forests, deserts, water or snow is entirely different. The means of transport is also different in urban and rural areas. Transport in plain areas. Look at the following pictures. Where do these vehicles move? The vehicles like cycle, bike, car, lorry, bus, etc. move on the road. Look at the following vehicles. Where do we find the above kinds of transport? Have you ever traveled by these vehicles? In rural areas where there is no proper road facilities, villagers use bullock carts, tractors, horse buggies or tangas to travel from their village to the nearest towns. Transport in hilly areas. In hilly areas, people travel on footpaths only. Animals like donkeys and horses are used to transport goods in these areas. We can see this type of transport at Araku in Visakhapatnam district of Andhra Pradesh. Nowadays, the ropeway is also used as a way of transport in the hilly areas. Transport in forests. There are no permanent roads in the forests too. The tribal people who live in Nallamala forest use footpath to travel from one place to another. They walk a long distance to reach the main road to travel in a bus. People carry, particularly the old people or patients, in dolis. The persons who are sick as well as pregnant women find it difficult to reach hospitals in time. Transport in deserts. Transport in desert area is limited. Therefore, the primary means of transport is the camel. Camel can walk easily on the sand. It can also walk long distances without taking water. Hence, the camel is known as the ship of the desert. The hump of the camel helps it to survive in the hot desert regions without drinking water for weeks. Transport in snowy areas. The polar regions are covered with snow all through the year. In such regions, sledges are the most common means of transport. In our country, we find the Himalayas covered with snow. Here people travel on yak or dolis and sledges. Transport in rivers and canals. In Kashmir, we see boats moving along the Dal Lake. So the boat is the means of transport. In our state, we find this kind of transport service on the rivers of Godavari and Krishna. There are many Lanka villages, islands in the middle of these rivers. People travel to nearby towns or villages by putti or boats. Do you know our future transport? Do you know how we will travel in future? Scientists are developing high-speed bullet trains, water cars, flying drones to make travel easier and faster. Ajit, this travel helped me to learn that people of different areas develop their way of living based on the environment. The language, clothing, food, means of transport, etc., depend on the climatic conditions and availability of sources. India is a beautiful country with diverse elements. In spite of all the differences, everyone helped us wherever we traveled with food and accommodation. My father told me that is called unity in diversity, which means our country is diverse in many ways, yet we are united. Activity. Some vehicles like tonga cart, bullock cart, etc. are pulled by animals. How do we take care of these animals? Activity. Look at the map of Andhra Pradesh showing airports and shipyards.